Your Excellency, for your very, very informative presentation. And I'm pretty sure after listening to His Excellency, it's going to help you to decide your next vacation destination. Is that correct? It's naturally Nepal once is not enough. And His Excellency was talking about the living goddess. I just remember because back home we have, that's the biggest Hindu festival, just like we celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas over here. And on a particular day, we have to go to the palace of the living goddess, and we had to bow down to her, and she would give her blessings. I remember I was like small, because usually living goddess would be there until I think 9 or 10 years old, because they won't be there after their puberty. So I mean, they have to be flawless. They can't have scars. Like they aren't supposed to lose their tooth. I mean, they have to be perfect. That's what makes them the living goddess. I mean, there is no god in the world, but Nepal is the only place where there is a living goddess. So that makes Nepal so very different. And I used to go with my grandmother, and I always fussed to her, asking like, why I can't be her? Because she asked me to bow down to her, and she was my age, and she was looking at me. I said, why is she staring at me? And I was like telling my grandma why I can't be like her. And there's a particular ethnic group I'm thinking, Shakya and Vajracharyas. They are the, they have the living goddess has to be from that ethnic group. And I heard that she has to be really very bold, and my grandmom told me all those scary stories. After that, I changed my mind to become one. Anyways, I couldn't have been one. Alrighty, so if you have any questions, I would like to open the floor for some question and answers with His Excellency for some more interaction. If you have any questions,
please raise your hand.
Yeah, I think Excellency did such a superb job. Like he just covered everything. And yes, sir.
What is the best time of the year to visit Nepal?
Anytime but monsoon.
I think we have activities in all seasons. As for example, I told you before, there are more festivals than the number of days in a year. But if you are looking for some particular climate, we have different climate period. As for example, just like here, I think we have spring, summer, then
Summer.
Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah, the monsoon. I think it's also very enjoyable because it's a bit hot. But in the meantime, you get rain almost every day in the monsoon period. So if we are talking about people from the Middle East, they love that, basically. So I think we have different activities in different times. But if you would like to see the mountains, maybe October, November, and December up to March, I guess. But December, January, if you want to avoid cold, maybe I think December, January will be too cold to go to the mountains, but you can go anytime.
I have one question, sir. You go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Do you require a visa?
Yes, but you can either get the visa on arrival in the airport, or embassy is so efficient. The day we get your passport, we will mail back it to you next day. So I think there is no problem in getting the visa at all. Probably you can even contact the local travel agency.
Almost all places that should be visited in Nepal, but you have not listed one important places. I guess that is the Janakpur, in the Tarai, the East Tarai. In Janakpur, I think you know that there is the Ram Janaki temple, the Janaki temple. That is the unique example of Mughal and Mithila and Nepali art. That's a combination, right? And the Mithila art in Nepal, in the Janakpur is very rich, and it has a very rich in cultural and traditional heritage. So you mentioned, I surprised why you, did not mention that place.
No, I think it's not by intention. I just gave two examples, Pasupati and Lumini. I didn't give any other examples. But what we have done in Nepal, and myself, because I was involved in the project, we have identified tourist spots and touristic places in all the zones in Nepal, actually. Almost all the zones, they have one or the other types of very good destinations, no doubt about that. But I think, right, Janakpur is one of the other very famous places for, especially if you would like to see the Mithila art, and there is also another connection, Hindu connection, like birthplace of Sita. Yeah, so I think there are other places also, but I just wanted to give one or two examples and then leave you to explore more about Nepal, because everything cannot be covered within 15 minutes. But thanks for reminding me. There are so many things. I think there is a hot news. If you even go today, you'll see, if you go Google to Nepal, you'll see the face of an American 13-year-old boy from California who climbed the Mount Everest a few days ago. So I think there are a number of numerous examples in the touristic area about Nepal.
You saw the situation in Nepal, and I have to admit, I was not aware when the problems were going on, but has that settled down? I heard about it, I think, after it was done.
I think because it's not that easy from moving from a kingdom to Federal Republic of Nepal. You have to have the new constitution, you have to have all those laws and regulations rewritten according to the new constitution. And I think the whole political system will have a different dimension. But more than that, I think when you are talking about some of the new parties coming, like the Maoist party coming to the mainstream, it's not that easy. But what has happened from 2006, they came to an agreement, peace agreement. They also participated in the election, Constitutional Assembly election. They led the government for about 9 months, and then now they are in the opposition. It's not, I think what we found out is that 2 years' time is not enough to write the constitution of Nepal. And then because the most difficult part is how to divide the country into states and provinces, I think, which is extremely difficult. So I think the government of Nepal, I would say the Parliament of Nepal, Constitutional Assembly of Nepal, has extended the period by 1 more year, very recently, just I guess a few hours ago. So I think hopefully they will be able to finish the constitution within the next 1 year. But in terms of tourism, yeah, once in a while, I think you can see in Nepal, especially in Kathmandu, you see Ban. But if you are going outside Kathmandu, going for trekking, nobody knows what Ban is in those areas. I think so. I think we have once in a while there's Ban, but nowhere, no country in the world is free of problem. But I think the tourists are enjoying Nepal. Please.
And is it necessary to change planes somewhere between here and there?
Okay, I'm not an expert on that one anyway, but just to give you some idea. I came to Washington DC from Kathmandu direct by Qatar Airways, and then there are a number of other Middle Eastern airlines coming to the United States and connecting to Nepal directly. And if you'd like to go via Delhi, I think the best one probably these days is, I think you have all kinds of airlines anyway, Air India, Jet, and probably even other Kingfisher and a number of other airlines. I'm not very sure, but at least these two, Jet and this airways. And then Delhi is connected by almost all airlines. If you would like to go through Bangkok, I think the Thai Airways is probably the best because they have connection to Nepal. I think about 11 flights a week, the big plane. And then if you would like to go by United, probably from Hong Kong you have Nepal Airlines. Yeah, but there are many good connections, but you have to explore the best one. And I think Korean Airlines. These days they have a direct flight from, I think, Los Angeles probably, to Seoul, and from Seoul to Kathmandu. Yeah, so from Dallas you can go to Seoul, and from Seoul to Kathmandu, the Korean Airlines.
think it's not a question, it's a comment or suggestion. Excellency, you just mentioned that, a 13-year boy climbed Mount Everest. Don't you think that you need to put a restriction in the age bar? Because in America, even in order to get a driving license, you need to have at least age of 18. I think if you do not put the age bar on that kind of climbing the mountain, you could see one of the days where a 6-year-old child is climb the mountain, risking their life. So we need to, I think, put some kind of restriction on that, don't you think?
We have the age bar. That's the reason why this boy went from Tibet, not from Kathmandu, not from Nepal. But Mount Everest is from Nepal. Good question. Thank you.
Then I think I need to talk to the Chinese ambassador to the United States.
Mr. Dhiren, good luck on that.
Yeah, please.
What part of tourism is, how much does tourism contribute to the economy in Nepal?
2 to 3% of GDP. If we are talking about the foreign exchange earnings of our goods trade, not the service, because we get lots of money from remittances income, about 209 billion, I guess. So that's almost close to 3 billion US dollar from the remittances these days. So I think not counting this income from services sector, if you compare from the goods sector, the exports of goods, it's about 1/3, quite substantial. But total in terms of GDP, I think it's 2 to 3%. But we have a great prospect in Nepal. Yes.
What kind of accommodations are there for people who are not of a trekking mindset?
In Kathmandu, you get all kinds of hotels. I think 5-star and I'll just say non-star, from non-star to 5-star. Because these non-stars are not bad, quite good. Some of these in the tourist market, quite good. So I think they are quite luxurious. And then you have, I have Radisson Hotel, Crown Plaza, Taj, and what else? Taj affiliated.
Hyatt also.
Hyatt, yeah, that's right. So I think we have all kinds of hotels. Not Marriott, I guess. Not yet. But in other places, like Pokhara and other places, you also have very good hotels, very luxurious to very modest. And if you would like to go to Mustan, that is where I was talking about, where you can see the Tibetan culture live. You also have 5-star hotel in that place, Mustan. But I think in those places you get very rarely 5-star hotel. People don't want to go to stay in 5-star hotel.
Right.
They would like to go for trekking, have homemade pizza and local food, whatever it is. So, all because I have to talk about everything. Thank you so much. Yeah.